so bored. I went to Walmart. Took it takes about 2 weeks puzzle. We finished one last night. I was like, yeah, that guy FaceTime my mother. I said, we do the last picture. I said, pull it out. FaceTime my mom. We'll make her happy.
I've been reading a ton about it.
I think it showed the video.
Yeah. Well, at least the press release said the release was on for tomorrow. So I'm surprised.
He's dead.
Press release said they'd be releasing the council, and that was it. That was tomorrow. So unless they were so am I confused? What do I do?
Less than.
Yeah.
Less than.
What was that? Yeah. How long was that?
A while.
Where would you have us?
Wherever you prefer. Is everybody good? Thank you for joining us today. I'm Christina Howell, the Public Affairs Officer for the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office. I want to extend a special thank you to Michael Grace and John Neville for being with us. Sheriff Kimbrough is going to speak today. He will be the only one speaking. There will not be time for questions afterwards. Again, we appreciate you being here, and we especially want to thank our community for their continued support.
Good afternoon. Once again, I want to thank you all for coming. I also want to give a special thanks to you, Sean, as well as your attorney, Mr. Grace, for being here this afternoon. As most of you know, the lawyer request to have the video release has been granted by the judge. Effective tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, we will transport that video to Raleigh, North Carolina, to the lawyer of the media outlets. Also, I wanted to take this opportunity to once again have a conversation and say how much I appreciate the class in which you have handled this tragedy as it relates to your father. I also want you to know that while I know this is a tragic time, once again, as you and your family have stated, to pull the scab off of a wound, I truly understand that. As it relates to the video, like many of you all that have seen it, I was saddened by what I saw as well. And I cried as well. I want you to know as a result of that, there are many changes that have been made as it relates to the passing of your father. Training, integrated training with the medical providers, policies and procedures. Your father has changed the way health care will be dispensed at the Forsyth County Detention Center, as well as how it will be dispensed throughout this region, based on the conversation I've had. I wanted you to know that. I also wanted you to know that I have stood with you from the beginning, as you have acknowledged that. I will continue to stand with you through this process. History has tied us together forever, and I will continue to stand with you and stand on the truth and what is right. I apologize again for what took place on that day. I apologize to you and your family. Also, I wanted you to know that we have thought very long and hard. Every bit of 2 seconds is what it took me to think about this. And with your permission, you don't have to answer now, but with your permission and your attorney's permission down the road, whenever you give us the okay, the section which was known as 4 South will be now named as the John E. Neville's Housing Unit, based on your permission to do that. And we're not doing that just because. We're doing it as a reminder of the men and the women that worked there, of what happened that day. We're doing it as reminders to let them know that life is paramount in how we do business. And also as a reminder to the residents that come through there that because of him, while we knew him as John Neville, you knew him as father. And that's what my decision was based on. That's what my decisions have been based on. Because while I never got a chance to meet him, just based on my conversation with you and how you and your family have handled this, I respected you and I respect the decisions that you asked, and that's why we have done that. And so I wanted the media outlets and I wanted the community to know that. It's while this video is tragic, I won't sugarcoat that. I won't. While it is sad, I won't sugarcoat that either. While his mistakes were made that day, they were. The truth is the truth. But what I will tell you is that we won't allow those barriers to stop us from still continuing together down this path. We won't. We won't let what happens keep us apart. We won't. I won't let what happened keep me from speaking the truth. I won't. I will always be here for you and your family because we owe you that. And I wanted you to know that. And that was the purpose of this press conference, only to say just that and to let this community know that we have stood and we will continue to stand with them. And I thank you for acknowledging that. You didn't have to do that, but thank you. I thank all of you for coming today. The video will be released tomorrow morning at 10:30 is the delivery time down in Raleigh. And so with that being said, I'll conclude what I came to say because it's not about me now. It's not about the sheriff's office. It's about the healing of this family. It's about trying to restore them as best possible. And so I thank all of you for that. To the community, we will stand together. We will stand with this family, whatever they need. And so I'll conclude my press conference. I want it to be brief.
With your permission.
You don't need permission. Whatever you like to say, Sean.
Sheriff, thank you, and to your invited guests, thank you for allowing me a moment to speak. Had a brief conversation there with my client, John Neville. He and I did not plan to speak. We didn't know what the sheriff's comments would be, but we wanted to take the opportunity to thank him for acknowledging the truth of this matter. In so many of these instances, the truth is tamped down, it's hidden, it's kept secret, but the sheriff has acknowledged that mistakes were made. And that means a lot to the family. It won't bring John Neville back. Nothing that the sheriff or I or any of you could say, ever say, will do that. But it goes away towards causing this terrible scar to heal over again. And the family's appreciative of that. There are lots of things yet to come. There are protesters with whom Sean and I plan to march with. We think protesting is necessary in these situations. There's a criminal case that although we didn't bring and we don't decide which way it goes, we plan to make ourselves available to the district attorney and to support him in what he has, we think, rightly decided is his course of action. And there's no doubt that I represent the family in the civil matter. We will be pursuing action against the County of Forsyth and against WellPath to see that this family is justly compensated. So there are a number of chores yet undone, a number of paths that we all have to walk down, but we certainly appreciate the sheriff's honesty, his openness, and his willingness to put a little salve and a little balm on this wound for the family and to acknowledge that there were mistakes. And as the coroner said in his report, this was a man who didn't have to die. Thank you, Sheriff. Thank you all.
Thank you. I'm going to conclude my press conference by simply saying, as the sheriff of this county, the question has been asked to me several times, how do you feel? And I will tell you that I'm grateful to be the sheriff because I get a chance to be a part of change. I get to be a part of changing the culture of how health is given to our residents. And so I simply say, as the sheriff of this county, on behalf of all the 600 plus men and women that work and serve this community, is that we give you my condolences, and I give you my condolences again. And I say to you again that I'm sorry for what happened to your father on behalf of them. And thank you all for coming. I appreciate you all for taking time from your day to come. Have a great day.